This afternoon's video, ladies and gentlemen, is learning your lesson about what the Chinese and what the old terms are. And what are the old terms? What is that called right there? I'm asking a question. I'm being facetious. Okay? That normally was known as a low side pressure switch. Okay? Back in the old days when I started working on cars, we originally thought our air conditioning compressor was bad. And we ordered one, and naturally off of eBay, since nobody stocks anything anymore, we got the wrong one at the auto parts store. Even though I told them what it is, and I have to tell them over and over again, I know what it is. This air compressor, AC compressor, this has one bolt. It has one port. It's a single port. It has two holes underneath there, but there's a single port. It's a manifold line. And naturally, dealing with the Chinese and going through eBay and people that can barely speak and comprehend English and trying to get a hold of the people that are actually selling this stuff, they make it like pulling teeth because you might cut them out of their 10% or whatever they get. Those companies, eBay and them and stuff, eventually they all get what they deserve. I got ripped off. I spent a lot of money I shouldn't have and didn't really need to have. But anyway, when I did get it apart, which you couldn't see it with all the camouflage, it's one of the reasons why I'm putting this intake system on. This is a cycle rate switch. And this is a very simple, it's beer 30 by the way, it's after work. This is one of those intake systems. Aftermarket cold air intake. There's a lot of names for them. Free flow intake. We're going to put that on because you can actually see then down, even if you have to remove it. These engines, they come with a lot of covers and a lot of freaking camouflage and plastic shit. But what happened was the pulley down there was hammered in the AC compressor department there, and there was no belt on it. And I threw a charge in it, hoping it would just turn on like most normal trucks, but Tara wasn't a normal truck. Somebody had taken care of her at one time and then just started to neglect her. And what we ended up with was no belt, and his pulley was seized up. As you can see, the bearing is no longer in there. It fell out down the auto parts store trying to get another one. So we got that. Cycle switch interrupter communicator. See, when you go to a parts counter now, it's all the old generation's gone. These kids only know what the Chinese call something, and unless you're really, really, really sharp and from the old school, you can help people. Even how to read what is called a typical manifold gauge. This goes into a manifold. This is what these pressure lines are. Anything that holds pressure and has lines to it is normally referred to as a manifold. Whether it's on an aircraft carrier or whether it's in a pickup truck, we're getting leagues and leagues of people that just don't know what the F they're doing. So Tara's getting cleaned up and she's getting it tuned up. Plugs and stuff will come tomorrow. We're going to get this intake system set up. And in order to put one of these custom intakes on, and this leaf stuff from these trees is driving me berserk. Thank God I'm not painting anything. That's why I'm holding off painting a new door for her on the other side. That has an angle. It's going to come out of here. As you can see, I got cleaning to do there. I got some residual. This has a tight angle where it comes out of here. And what we did, I have to go get my file out then. If you guys want to install one of those systems on your truck, you got to cut your fan shroud out. I see guys trying to jam them in there, and I've seen one installed on the YouTube here. The YouTube is your best source of information for doing stuff right, but it's idiots that would call that a low pressure switch like us old timers would. Okay, we're having a hard time with comprehensions and with terminologies because of this new generation. They're not educated. They never worked on a car. They just quit their job driving a forklift, just like they came into construction. Well, my dad called it this because he worked for a guy at one time, but he never worked in the trade. He wasn't in the trade like that. That's not a rookie wagon. That name's been on those trucks. These are the ones that are at the house here, and they're not rookie vehicles. So if you take a look at this stuff, You go to the auto parts store, or you go shopping on anywhere on eBay. Sometimes eBay a lot of times has the parts and the old trade names right. You can actually find the shit, but this stuff going to Advanced Auto Parts and nobody knows anything. It's their first day at work, and the manager, it's his second fucking day. It's like dealing with Bikeberry. It's like a monkey fucking a football. Every time you go to order a part, nobody knows what the fuck to call it. I walk the fuck in there. I dread going in there. I get this sense of dread before I get out of my truck and have to walk in there. You got to stand in line because of these things. You just got to keep standing in line because nobody knows what the hell they're doing. They came from working at Weiss Markets or Giant, and now they're working at the auto parts store selling you freaking auto parts. Get freaking bent. I don't know what the hell is going to come of this next generation, but it is not good. And we got a war looming here on the horizon between Russia and all that. And you just try to enjoy a little of your solitude and do a little bit of a, how could you call this, a little bit of a satisfaction project to get a little performance out of the truck since our other one got stolen. Her big sister left a lot to be desired, and just about everything this truck came with besides the goddamn seats I replaced. So when you guys want to drive and build a Silverado and stuff, this is the way it starts out. And the demand for air conditioning comes with the summer. The air conditioning had to work, and there it is. You can't say much more than a work table that looks like that and replacing switches. But we did find out why the AC didn't work, because that was shot, then that didn't work. I don't know what to do. And this system, if you go to the auto parts store, they're going to tell you it takes 32 ounces to fill the system. I got news for you. It does not take 32 ounces. It takes about 40. I'm lighting my poisonous death. I'm trying to quit smoking. If you guys can give me a hand out there in Harley B land, somebody give me a call and tell me how to quit. It's just my ass hairs are up with everything going on and all the dumb stuff. And a lot of that does agitate me. It goes to heart when I walk in a store and you try to do a project. You try to do the project right, and you try to do it that you can get dinner on time. And you stand there at the parts counter with your cock in your hand because they hire the dumbest dirtbags for the little wages. I'm having a pissing contest with AutoZone. Everybody's new that's walking in there. Some of the guys know what they're doing. Some of them don't. You got to stand there forever because of this parts name game. Because mainly it's blamed on the Chinese copying factory parts, so they call it something else. And if you get one of the ones that are dumber than bread and dumber than a bag full of donuts, those are the guys, they can't figure out what the hell you're talking about, because the Chinese have to call it something else because they pirated or copyrighted somebody else's part. And I would have gladly have bought the dealer's part today, but they don't have it. And Chinatown did. And then the rest of the way we get punished is, well, if it functions for a while, well, probably somewhere down the road I'm going to be buying another one from Chinatown. So I'm going to pay twice when I should have got the one from GM. But unfortunately, they got their head in their asses, and you just can't get parts. Fairway Motors here in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, we're going to make a video out there because we're going to go out and ask them for a handful of parts for these Silverados. And they're going to tell you, we ain't got it, we ain't got it, we ain't got it. So I like to embarrass jackasses. And they need the fucking VIN number. You call up the Chinatown Auto Parts, they don't need the goddamn VIN number to look something up. Disparaging. So at Beer 30, that is another Harley B video about Tara, the unloved Silverado. She's looking good, getting there, and the other door will get on her as soon as we stop getting these. I've been out of work more so. They don't know what hurts people. I have to stay home because I can't strip a roof and chance it that it's going to rain in somebody's house. This is just, they keep shooting that stuff up, that slant-eyed little toad over there in North Korea in our own country with these goddamn huge bombs. It disturbs the weather patterns. That's what your skies look like. Thank your government that you can't go to work if you work on the outside and in the trades. That's just them. They don't give a shit. They want to prove their point that they're the biggest muscle on the planet. The biggest muscle on the planet and the biggest muscle in your body, that's between your ears. You outsmart somebody just like you outsmart a truck that doesn't work, and how to fix it and how to fix it right and cheap. Unfortunately, my brain cells didn't work here. I bought another compressor, and the compressor wasn't even bad. But that's when these trucks come with all these hoods and covers. That's when people, they finally open the car, they open up what they bought, and they finally take those plastic covers off and go, Jesus God, what the hell? Look, you know, it looks like the space shuttle anymore. But some of this stuff is advancing, and that bottom tensioner, by the way, that was no easy baby to get off. I had to pull the bottom covers, by the way. If you want to get in there without having to take the fan off and do all that other stuff, you got to take the two covers. The other one, I think, is under the truck there. You got to take those two covers off, and you can actually get the AC compressor without taking off the fan and yanking the bottom fan shroud and all that. You can get to all that stuff and get it out of there. So, thanks for watching my video and my cursing and snotting again. It's just getting disgusting. And we'll get the plugs and the wires, and we're going to clean that up under the hood, and she'll look good. She's starting to look good already. And I want to get some camouflage paint there and get some tape back there on that insulation. Got a lot of work to do to poor Tara. Like I said, she was unloved and not taken care of, and I don't know what else to tell you about her. So, thank you.